Hi guys, so I just wanted to share some little envelopes I've made for junk journals, and these are all different years. If you've been following my channel for a while, you would have seen some little coin tags that I made, it's probably like a year and a half ago or so now. It was when my channel was really new, when I just started out. So I don't think most of you would have seen it because I probably only had 50 subbies back then. But what I did, I had a whole bunch of 1 and 2 cent pieces. I'll put the link to my previous videos in the comments box below. But all they were, I had some 1 and 2 cent pieces, and in Australia, they were introduced in 1966, I think it was, when we moved from imperial to decimal currency to metric. And but they got rid of them in 1992. So the smallest coin we have now is a 5 cent piece. So we don't have 1 and 2 cent pieces. And I think a lot of us have like a whole bunch of 1 and 2 cent pieces stashed away in a drawer somewhere. And I've got a whole big jar full of them. And I've just been using them in crafting, I suppose. My husband used a whole bunch, and my son used a whole bunch when they were young to paint. They paint these little figurines for some, I don't know, game. And they use these as the little bases to hold the little guys up. But I've just been using them for, I don't know, journals, tags mostly. But all I've done is, actually I was going to film this, but they're very easy to make. So I thought I could just explain it to you. But if you do want to see me make some, yeah, leave a comment in the comments box below, and I can always show you, but they're quite easy. I think if I explain it, you'll be right. I just take, you know when you buy a blanket or a doona or something, it comes in this big plastic bag. And I always save those, and I get my family and everyone to save them for me because that's the plastic I use. I don't want to buy, I don't know if it's PVC or vinyl, no, same thing, isn't it? Vinyl, but it's really thick and it's quite sturdy. So I just cut them to size and shape, and little coin, that's just a handwritten, you can see front and back on it, pop in an eyelet and stitch around it. And I think they're super cute. Originally, I don't think I used the brown string. I used some eyelash trim from memory. Yeah, some brown eyelash trim. But anyway, I think they make really great little mementos in journals. You know, if you were born that year, or I don't know, your children were born that year, or you got married, or I don't know, something happened in that year. I just think they're great little mementos to have in journals, and I like doing little things like this. So what I've done, I've just made an envelope, and I've put a little coin tag, and I've got a blank tag, and on the back it's just book page, and it's stamped 1978. And I thought the blank tag, you can write whatever that year represents or what it means to you on there, or something like that, I don't know. And pop those in, and then in the top, so that's a little envelope, I've lined it with book page, and then in the top, so sorry, you'll see 1978 stamped under there and on the back. And then in the top, this one is August 1978. I've just put a page out of, actually this one has August 78 on one side and September 78 on the other. So if September 78 is what is important to you, you can just fold it the other way so that it shows through the window. And this is just pages out of, it's a music book, and it has from the 60s through to, I don't know if it was mid 80s or early 90s even, but it just has month by month every year what happened that month in the music world. And I did originally make one of these with a a newspaper. Because I thought that was more nostalgic. But I don't have any old newspapers. I have a few really, really old ones, but none for the years that I've got a coin. So I've used these instead. But if you make some, it would be good if you had a newspaper, or, front page of a newspaper or a calendar page or something. But these are pretty good, actually. They're quite funny if you look through some of them. It shows what was in the charts, and yeah, it's quite good. This one's Van Halen. Jamesy, you're a huge Van Halen fan. But yeah, some of the stories, yeah, they're quite funny. So, anyway, so this one, the August 78, just shows through that little window, or the September 78, whatever. And the way I've made them, so the tag was just the blanket bag, which I chopped up, stitched around. This tag was just book pages and some, coffee dyed paper scraps. This one had printing on one side. I coffee dye everything. So all I've done, I've taken the large envelopes, because the small envelopes, like these, it didn't have enough, I don't know, I wanted to make it wider on each side, because I wanted to make them a little bit wider, so, that would have been too narrow. So I didn't use the small envelopes. I mean, you can use them if you want, I just wanted them wider. So I've used the large security envelopes, and these are used. I've got a friend on a reception desk who saves me all the envelopes and stuff, and oh my gosh, I have a squee-in, so you're going to see a lot of security envelope things popping up, because I need to use them. I didn't realize exactly how many I had until I started packing everything up from my old craft room to bring down to my new, well, I say craft room, but it's just a garage which we converted into a little crafty studio for me. Anyway, so I've got so many, and I can't get myself to throw them in the recycle bin. I have to use them up. Anyway, I'll never use them, but anyway. So all I did, I cut it this way, and I think the length was perfect, because if you trim that little bit down the bottom, and then I just fold it over to make the pocket and trim the top open. Inside I've lined with book page, just because, I don't know, I didn't like the pattern showing through for this. Usually I like the security envelope patterns, but I wanted these ones to look more old and vintagey, if you know what I mean. And then I've stamped on the envelope before I covered it. So I've got this huge old stamp that I found in an op shop about a year ago maybe. It was only like $3, and I was like, okay, that is so cool. The font is awesome. I want to get some purple ink for it, because how cool does that look? But it's absolutely huge. I love it. I had no idea what I would use it for, but I got it anyway, because you don't see those things often. Anyway, so I stamped the envelope. Some I've done like the first impression, second, third, because I wanted it faded. And then I just covered the envelope. So once I've cut it, stamped it, put the book page in, and I've just covered it with some sewing pattern paper, because I love the look of the sewing pattern paper. I love all the little lines and arrows and even the writing. I just think it looks so cool. And yeah, this is the natural colour of the paper. I've only inked the edges, but see how vintagey it looks. It looks so delicious. Anyway, when you glue it down, I think it looks better if you try and wrinkle it up a bit. So if you get some wrinkles, I think it looks better. When I was first doing it, I was trying to make them wrinkle free and really flat, but I think it looks older and, I don't know, just more vintagey. And it feels nicer with wrinkles. So in the end, I was trying to deliberately wrinkle it, but then I was getting them too smooth. You know, when you don't want wrinkles, you get them. When you want them, yeah, it was hard to actually put wrinkles in. Anyway, so see the gorgeous patterns. I love them. So I made a whole bunch of years. There's 78, a few 66, and they're all the same. They've all just got pages from that same magazine. Some have 2 months on them, like this one has April and May 66, so you can always fold it to whichever month you want. Some only have one on the back. But I love them. I love how they came out. And I love how the sewing pattern paper looks over the window on the security envelopes. So I've got a few 66s, 67, 1968 I didn't make any because they didn't mint any coins that year. So I don't have any 68 Australian coins. I've got some other countries, I think. It's a 1970. And I tried not to position the writing because it's too easy to get into, you know, trying to position it in the perfect space. So at first I was being a bit, you know, I don't know, fussy, but then I was like, no, I just want it to fall randomly. And I think when it fell random places, it was actually better. The only thing I did make sure was that this bit wasn't covered. Some have a little bit, like see this one. But for the most part, I wanted it blank so that you could see through it. I love how they come out. I really love the sewing pattern paper. (1972), 73. This one, I don't know why. This one I made a lot narrower. Oh, actually, this one I think might have been a smaller size envelope that I was testing. But I like them a bit wider. So there's only one narrow one. 73 is the narrow one. 74. Anyway, I really love them. I love stuff like this, you know, things that represent a year and kind of mean something to you. Anyway, that's it. So I'm going to put these little guys into my Etsy shop. And that's it. Give it a try. Use up those security envelopes. These are super easy. But yeah, if you do want me to show you, leave a comment. But I think you'd manage. It's quite easy. Okay, that's it. And thanks for watching. Bye.